I know this might sound basic, but I think we just saw one of the greatest women's 100-meter dash races ever. Let's just get right into this. Hey guys, welcome back to Speak Truth Sports. This is Trey as always, and today we're here to cover some track in the Olympics. Before we get into the video, please leave a like and a comment. Just let us know what you guys are thinking. While you're down there, you might as well hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, let you know when our videos are dropping. And of course, check out our social medias, our Twitter, Speak Truth Sport. Check out our Instagram, Speak Truth Sports, and check out our website, www.speaktruthsports.com. Please, just check all those things out, and let's just get right into this. This was an event that always garnered a lot of attention. The 100-meter dash is one of the most watched races in track, arguably because it's one of the shorter races in track, of course. Wow, this one was just unreal. Hasn't been too many times where we've seen so many fast times in opening heats, the semifinals, and let alone the finals itself. This was really impressive, and wow, I mean, it just blows my mind that people just can run at this speed and this ability. But what do you expect? This is the highest levels of the Olympics. The three athletes I really want to highlight in this video are Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce, Elaine Thompson-Herah, and Marie-Josee Ta Lou. Let's talk about Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce first. She's 34, but you wouldn't expect that by the way she runs. She was the fastest woman coming into this race. Coming into the Olympics, she ran a 10.63. This was the fastest time this year, and she was arguably the fastest woman coming into the Olympics as well. Funny enough, her time was 1 millisecond away from the Olympic record that was held by Florence Griffith Joyner, which was a 10.62. But let's just get into how she did in the Olympics. Of course, Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce in her opening heat ran a 10.84, which is crazy because usually in the opening heats no one really runs sub 11s that much, but there was a lot of sub 11 runners in this Olympic race, which is not, like I said, uncommon. If you watched her race, and she was in heat 5 with, like I said, 10.84. I mean, she started out strong. What can you say? She started strong at the blocks, kept her head down for like the first 20 meters or so. Then she got upright. It was just, it was impressive. The mechanics were strong as expected. It just looked like she was going through the motions for sure, though. It looked like she was definitely just cruising through, but for someone cruising through, she had a 10.84. Like, you really can't beat that. And that's longevity, and wow, it just goes to show how well she took care of herself and her health. Obviously, she made it past the semifinals, made it into the finals because, Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce is just that person. What do you expect? She's arguably one of the greatest runners we've seen. This is not surprising whatsoever. Let's talk about Elaine Thompson-Herah of Jamaica. She's 29, and she's the reigning Olympic champion. In 2019, she was dealing with an injury, and she was out for a while. But since then, she's really bounced back. And if you watch the Olympics, she looks like she really hasn't even lost the step, to be honest. In the opening heat, she started out with 10.82. I mean, it was even faster than Fraser-Pryce's, and I thought that was a fast time. All these women running sub 11s in the opening heats, it's mind-boggling. When you watch the first race, you could tell she was poised, hips up high in the blocks. She had one of the better first steps in the race, but she wasn't actually leading the whole time, and actually didn't start leading really until let's say the 30-40 meter mark. Beginning of the race, it seemed like Kabunji of Switzerland was she looked like she was going to make a move to stay in first place, but obviously that didn't last very long. And Thompson, even though she started out the blocks well, I feel like her first 10 to 20 meters were a little shaky compared to most of her other races, of course. But there's one thing I've kind of noticed is when in that race, she kind of kept her head down and didn't get fully upright until, let's say, probably 25 meters in or so. And if you look at the other runners at the 25-meter mark, everyone was essentially already upright, besides the runner from Germany next to her, Pinto. But when runners aren't fully upright until that late, it kind of leaves a lot of reserve speed for her. Because once you go upright, you're at full speed essentially, or you're getting into your phases. She didn't get into her second phase until everyone else was already in their second phase. So when she started her second phase after everyone else, it left so much more, like I said, reserve speed. So she had that extra kick by the time everyone was already dying out in the race. So it's really like, it's so strategical how Thompson runs her races. It's impressive, the fact that she can stay low for that long and keep up with all these other runners, and then once she gets into her next phase, everyone else is already in there, so she has so much more speed and so much more intensity left, while everyone else is trying to kind of hold on to that top speed while she's just getting into her top speed. And that's what keeps Thompson head and shoulders above her competition in a lot of these races. But you know, she did impressive in the opening heat. Next, in the semifinals, she kind of just did the same thing she did in the opening heat, but just seemed like she worked out all the mechanics and smoothed out her race from the opening heat to translate into the semifinals, and just looked like she just was going through the motion. And in that one, she was much more impressive in the semifinals, and she led most of that race that time around as well. And the last athlete I kind of wanted to highlight before getting into the finals, of course, was Marie-Josee Ta Lou of Ivory Coast. She ran a 10.78 in the opening heats, which was the fastest time then, and also her personal best. She absolutely smoked her competition. She left nothing left for them except for the dust. It was crazy to watch her go that fast that early on. I do kind of believe she put a little too much effort in the opening heats, but you know, it helped her a lot because she made it to the semifinals and obviously into the finals. And you know, I think that even though I do think that she went too hard in the opening heats, she did kind of set the tone, and she kind of let everyone know, like, hey, like, everyone talking about Fraser-Pryce, talking about Thompson-Herah, and talking about Shericka Jackson of Jamaica, all three of these Jamaican athletes. But she wanted to let everyone know, like, hey, you know, there's other runners in this that can compete, and Ta Lou, she definitely showed that she's here to compete. So props to her for making the finals, semifinals, and then into the finals, of course. So, but let's talk about the finals of the women's 100-meter dash. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I know it sounds so generic. I feel like every time something happens in sports, oh, this was the greatest thing that ever happened. Top 10 moment, top this, top. This is actually one of the few times I'll actually say this. This was arguably one of the greatest women's 100-meter dashes we've seen ever. Thompson-Herah and Fraser-Pryce put on a show. Those two were essentially neck and neck for essentially the neck and neck for 50 meters of the 100 meters in this race. Those two it was just back and forth, back and forth. But Thompson-Herah pulled away, I would say, when they got into the last phases of the race. I'd say like 70, 80 meter mark. Thompson-Herah just pulled away. And it also just seemed like Fraser-Pryce's mechanics broke down at the same time Thompson-Herah got that big burst of speed. And you know, for Fraser-Pryce, I would say this: she was lucky to even get second, because the way she broke down that race was bad. It looked like she was hurting in that last 15 to 20 meters. Shericka Jackson was right behind her. I think she got third for sure, but it was milliseconds away from who was second and who was third. But let's talk more about Elaine Thompson-Herah, man. Wow, she ran a 10.61, which is a new Olympic record. And you don't really see this very often. I mean, I know she's a reigning champ from the Olympics last time, but man, oh man, like to see her get this burst of energy, especially bouncing back from that injury from 2019, and to see her do this now, breaking Florence Griffith Joyner's record, which was in place since 1988. So like, this is unheard of, and she beat it only by like 1 millisecond. And man, it's impressive. I mean, it really is. And what makes this race even more impressive for Thompson-Herah, she ran into a -6 meters per second headwind. So she could have been a faster time if there was no headwind in general, which means it could have been more than just a millisecond breaking this record, which is already crazy in my mind. Like, Thompson-Herah, it's mind-boggling. These athletes just, every time, it just feels like they just get better and better year in, year out. And you know, she's 29 years old, and there's a lot more left to her career, and it's really impressive for her. And let's be honest with this one, Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce was kind of the favorite to win this originally. It was kind of an upset victory for Thompson-Herah. You know, Fraser-Pryce ran a 10.63 earlier this season. Like I said, people really thought that, okay, she's just going to hit the next level and possibly even break the Olympic record, but it was Thompson-Herah to do that, which is crazy. But let's give credit where credit is due for Fraser-Pryce. She's now officially the first sprinter, male or female, to win 4 medals in the 100-meter dash. And that's unheard of. That's crazy. Like I said, most sprinters really don't last that long in track, but to see her do so at age 34, it's beyond impressive. It really is. But let's just end off with the fact that Jamaica just clean swept the women's 100-meter dash podium, to no one's surprise. Thompson-Herah, obviously, like I said, ran the Olympic record. Now holds a new Olympic record of 10.61. Fraser-Pryce ran a 10.74, and Shericka Jackson 10.76, which was her personal best. So this was very impressive. And to say the least, these Jamaican runners are they're different. They're different. But you know, like I said, to no one's surprise, they really just did this. So shout out to Jamaica. On that note, thank you guys for watching this video. Like I said earlier, please like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our social medias, Instagram, Street Truth Sports. Check out our Twitter, Speed Truth Sport. Check out our website, speedtruthsports.com. And we'll be back with more Olympic videos soon. We'll be back with a lot more videos in general. We have a lot of content coming for you guys, so please just stay tuned. Till then, this is Trey as always. Peace.